What's up, everybody? Welcome to this week's episode of the Talkin' Pop podcast. Brad, we can see it. We can taste it. 3 years in the making. We are almost there. It is release week for the Batman. We are days away from seeing the film that just weeks ago, when we did our most anticipated movies of 2022, we all listed as our most anticipated film of the year. And we are days away. I am so stoked, man. I am stoked.
I'm beside myself. Like I was just telling you earlier, I've been pretty much having this conversation with everyone that will, in fact, go toe-to-toe with me about our excitement about this movie coming out and everything that's going on, whether it be the general hype, a new teaser, a new, whatever it is. It's just this is definitely kudos to Warner Brothers.
Oh yeah.
The hype machine over at Warner Brothers
is chugging right along.
Well done. Well done.
The reviews are in and they're overwhelmingly positive. The consensus I'm getting from reading it is, if you're a comic book movie fan or anyone who would listen to the Talkin' Pop podcast, you're going to really like this movie. Oh, yeah. If you're a Batman diehard, which I would classify you, me, and Kelly as Batman diehards.
Oh, yeah.
You're going to frickin' love this movie.
Yeah.
Like, I'm seeing things like epic cinema. I've seen the word cinema get thrown around a lot.
Anytime one of these kind of bigger blockbuster type movies ends up actually like spending a little time and, getting some proper cinematography and some thoughtful screenwriting and high level actors to be involved in something. Yeah, people love throwing around the buzz term cinema as though it's like, it's like some sort of mythical, level that no other movie can do. And it's like, no, you can do this. You can make superhero movies just like any sort of other film noir, like any sort of other high drama, high stakes type movie that, always drew an audience. It doesn't have to be the quote unquote fluffy, superhero movie, even though we love that too. It's just kind of like, it's fully possible. Like, look what they're doing. Nolan showed that you could do it. And now clearly Matt Reeves is taking, this, dialing it up while keeping it in that very comic booky world. And I can't say enough about it is essentially what I'm trying to say.
Well, it's funny, right? Because you're seeing because all the reviews up until this point are like non-spoiler reviews. So it's just giving you sort of like a holistic take on it. And the comparisons that are being made are not to like previous superhero movies. Like, obviously Seven is a huge movie that it's being compared to. Movies like Taxi Driver, like those.
Taxi Driver was a big one with Joker too. Yeah, Joker was a big one with that.
Yeah, so I mean, I'm really, really excited, man. I'm going. Actually, let's start with you. When are you going to see the movie?
We're going to see it Saturday night, full IMAX.
Nice.
There is an IMAX theater in Manhattan that is the biggest IMAX screen in all of North America.
Oh, sweet.
And if you're gonna go see something in the biggest IMAX screen in North America, you might as well do it for the Batman. Like, I knew when this was coming out, I knew I had my eye set on that place, and I'm like, I have to make sure I get tickets for that screen. I actually did see Ghostbusters there as well, and some of the people that were kind of going about that movie, I was like, you need to go see that thing on the IMAX screen then, because like it puts it away. And I've always been a major advocate for it. So the Batman, IMAX, Manhattan,
well, especially
let's
because
go.
Matt Reeves was so vocal about how like this is meant to be experienced in an IMAX theater.
Oh yeah, yeah. Like I mean, you can't. I'm not trying to take anything away from like these, I don't want to call them gimmicky things, but like, the whole 3D movement that went on there for a while when things weren't even really shot in 3D. Like, leave the 3D to James Cameron and everybody else just kind of go sit down. So for me, the real experience now in the theater is if something is actually filmed in IMAX and then you see it on an IMAX screen. That's what I'm talking about. You get the sound, you're getting the full encompassing visual. Like I'm giddy because I already know from watching these trailers, like on our phones and our iPads and on our TVs or whatever, that the sound is already there. So I'm finding it hard to contain myself when I'm thinking about some of these bigger action scenes or what have you in this movie in IMAX. Where are you seeing it, buddy?
So unfortunately, in my local area, as you know, you grew up around here as well.
Yes.
We do not have an IMAX, so I have to settle for the next best thing, which is AVX.
That's good too, man.
Yeah, it could be worse. Could be worse. I'm going Thursday night. I also bought tickets for a Saturday matinee, and you will not be surprised to hear that I actually have a day off from work on Friday. So it is entirely possible that by the time we sit down to do our review on Sunday morning, I will have seen this movie 3 times. It is entirely possible.
Was this like a specifically chosen day off?
Well, I had like a long story short, not to bore the audience. I have a bunch of carryover vacation days that I have to use. So I thought I'd give myself a long weekend, and I'm like,
yeah.
And so I kind of looked at the better half today. Yeah, I kind of looked at the better half today, and I was like,
yeah,
it's entirely possible that on Friday during the day, I might sneak over to the theater and watch the movie again. So
do it. I say do it.
Yeah.
So for me too, because like the hype machine for this movie was already there. I think we're all going to see this multiple times just based off of what we're hearing and our general Batman obsession. But these most recent reviews that are just coming out, they are, like you said, overwhelmingly positive.
Yeah.
And I don't know that I'm like that shocked, to be honest with you. Like there's so many people that are just like, gushing and like going crazy. It helps me like want to go see the movie that much more. But I was already at like a 10. I don't know how much higher I could go, but it does make me feel good to see what they're saying. Yes. And I want to know like what your biggest takeaway was, like of like all the positive things that have been coming out so far. Like what was the thing that's really kind of grabbed you?
So the thing that I'm most excited about that I'm seeing in a lot of these reviews is something that I've said to you and Kelly multiple times on this podcast is I have been really like, I'm seeing the term like neo-noir detective story thrown around. And I've spoken about previous Batman movies, the Nolan films specifically. While we all love them and they're great, those are the best way I can describe how I feel about those films, having watched them recently, is they're movies that involve the Batman characters.
Yes.
But it's like, I saw a review the other day that said this is like you opened a graphic novel and are watching it, and they compared it to Batman the Animated Series. And I'm like, that is what I'm so excited about it. And I don't think that we've seen that yet. Like just a true blue, like Batman adaptation that isn't like, oh, well, let's take Batman and mold it into a movie. It's like, no, let's take this incredible source material and just put it up on the screen.
Yeah.
That's what I'm most excited about.
Yeah, no, that's really been my takeaway as well. Aside from the fact that, one of the things I was the most excited for was just who they have cast in these roles.
Oh yeah.
Just because it was like really, especially this younger crop of actors that are in these roles that, there's kind of like a bit of a passing of the torch I'm finding going on with this. Like you're starting to see this, our generation, I guess, really starting to take the helm with some of these kind of like leading roles, like these, maybe more traditional movie star type roles. And seeing the response of these critics that are the old guard and seeing these new guys here, I was worried they might be a little overcritical. And it's been the opposite. It's been the absolute opposite. Paul Dano is just getting like, rave reviews.
Yeah.
Robert Pattinson. Colin Farrell. Yeah. I mean, that was the guy. Like, again, when the first teasers and the first pictures and everything were starting to come out, I'm just that person who's just like, guess who this is? Like, just like whoever would listen to me. And that alone had me so intrigued by Colin Farrell, like the makeup that they've done on him. And then I actually feel like he's the character we're getting the least of in these trailers and in these teasers. And it seems to be one of the people that they are going on the most in.
Yes.
Or excuse me, going the most on about in these reviews.
Mhm.
So my favorite review so far has been like, you're about to understand why Penguin series got greenlit so fast. And it was like, let's go.
Nice.
Let's go.
There's a lot of good acting performances in this. When every review I read, it's changes. It's like Robert Pattinson steals the show. Then you read the next one. Zoe Kravitz steals the show. Then you read the next one. Paul Dano steals the show. Colin Farrell. Like, another thing that I've really taken away from these that excites me. He's in the suit. Dude, it's a 3-hour movie. And people are like, he's in the suit for like 80% of it.
Let's go.
Like, yeah.
Let's go.
That's what I'm talking about.
Let's go.
Like,
that's what I feel like that's what we want. Like, it's not that we don't want to see Robert Pattinson as Bruce Wayne. We do, but it's also just like, we've all kind of talked about this, and we'd heard this kind of in like the rumblings when this movie was in pre-development and then in development and then, in COVID hell. And then now, since trailers have dropped and everything else, that this is going to be a very Batman-centered film.
Yes.
And it's not that Batman isn't obviously a big part of the other Batman movies, but it's just, sometimes the villain, whoever it has been in these different incarnations, has taken like a little bit of the forefront, the limelight, and Batman almost becomes like a secondary character. Whereas this one, it's like, no, this is a Batman story. He is the central character in this, and it is him dealing with the other people around him, whether it be Riddler or Catwoman or whoever. So that alone.
Yeah, so excited.
But the other thing I was going to mention too was, let's not leave Zoe Kravitz out of this too much, because one of the big things I've been taking from all of these reviews is they're saying this is probably the best, cinematic believable relationship, charismatic relationship between Batman and Catwoman that we've seen.
Well, those two have you can see in like the junket interviews and stuff, like those two have such chemistry together.
They have such chemistry.
Yeah. So I'm sure it is Matt Reeves, because a lot of the takeaways I saw from like actor interviews and stuff is they all praise like Matt Reeves' screenplay. So I'm sure the source material and the writing is incredible. But then you add those two actors who are great actors who have a natural chemistry.
Yeah.
That it's like leaping off the screen. Oh, I'm so excited.
Oh my God, dude. Man. Oh my God.
Let's go. So the next time we convene, we will be doing a full-on deep dive review of the Batman. That'll be dropping Sunday afternoon. So hit that like and subscribe button below.
Tune in.
Get notifications so you be the first to know when our Batman review drops.
I'm gonna give you a little. I'm gonna give him a little teaser. I'm gonna give him a little teaser.
Brad's gonna do a promo.
Holy shit! Yeah. Oh my God! I don't even know what to say. That's gonna be us. That's gonna be us on Sunday. Just FYI.
Yep.
All right.
Yep. It's gonna be me going on and on about how I just am in love with every single shot of the film. Moving on, Warner Brothers to Warner Brothers. The new trailer for Fantastic Beasts: Secrets of Dumbledore drops. You mentioned it in a text the other day, so I'm going to kind of let you take it away here. They seem to be really leaning into the Jude Law Dumbledore character in this latest sequel.
Yeah. You know what? I mean, I think kudos to Warner Brothers, because they had done kind of like a teased reveal of this trailer through Jude Law on their own, social medias. I think it was Instagram. It was supposed to release last Wednesday. It didn't, because of the obvious, war that is going on, situation that's going on in Ukraine. And I thought that was very classy that they decided to just ixnay for now.
Yeah.
And so we got it, I believe, yesterday. Was it yesterday?
It was yesterday. Yep.
We got it yesterday on Monday. So this franchise, leaves me befuddled. I don't know. I don't. It's so strange to me that these trailers alone, you're just seeing like the high level of quality that's there as far as like, again, the actors that they have in there, um the traditional feeling that you get like the Harry Potter movies. It seems like the formula is there. It
Mhm.
seems like it should be working.
Yep.
And it to date, they haven't been bad. I think that's what makes it hard, is it's not like I can really put my finger on something and go like, this was bad, or this is why it's not working, or whatever. You've got Oscar nominees and Oscar winners in that cast, left, right, and center. It's J.K. Rowling wrote those scripts herself.
Yep.
It's really hard,
Do you
and I
think
do
it's
think
because the original Harry Potter movies just set the bar so high that it's like they can't quite?
I I don't think it is. Like, I mean, I wouldn't say that that's not it.
Yeah.
I think that might be part of it. And I do think that that's why you're getting this third movie leaning so heavily on Dumbledore and Jude Law.
Yeah.
Because even the trailer literally starts with Michael Gambon's Dumbledore from the original series, and then it transitions into the new. And so I do think that this is Warner Brothers, and I do think that this is J.K. Rowling going like, okay, like this isn't really working.
Mhm.
And then the franchise obviously took, in my opinion, and again, I've said this before, this is in no way, shape, or form a slight against Mads Mikkelsen. He's phenomenal.
Mhm.
He's phenomenal.
Mhm.
But I do think a lot of people are feeling almost like slighted now that we were waiting for this showdown between Johnny Depp and Jude Law, to see them kind of go toe to toe in these movies. And now it's kind of like they're tripping at the finish line and they've had to recast a major character. I just think it's like a little.
I think anytime in a franchise when you have to recast a major character, it does take the wind out of the sails.
Yeah.
Especially, but in this case, it's like it's such a high profile actor that you're right. You'd been kind of building up this storyline, and now he's out, and it's like
Yeah.
I always think of like the GA, right? Who
Mm-hmm.
do you think the general audience is watching that trailer going like, "Oh, that's the same character as Johnny Depp"?
I quite honestly think there's a lot of people going, who is that?
Yes.
Like, is that Grindelwald? Is that who that's supposed to be?
Yeah.
What happened to Johnny Depp? But by the same token, at minimum, at least they have a bit of an out.
Mhm.
Circle back to Colin Farrell, because Colin Farrell was Grindelwald, and then you find out that it's actually he's been undercover and it's Johnny Depp, and it's like, so they've actually, if you were ever going to have to replace a character, at least it's somebody who's actually like already like morphed into looking like somebody else once in the franchise. But that being said, it was supposed to be like that's his true form. So now he's like hiding again, I guess. I don't
Now
know.
He's like, no,
I
he's
don't
like, just
know.
kidding.
Ah,
Just kidding. Yeah.
you're not going to see me again.
This is my true form.
Yeah, and I mean, listen, I will say this. I'm glad, if nothing else, Jude Law as Dumbledore, as the young Dumbledore. Amazing decision, amazing casting back when they announced it.
He looks great. He looks
great. He's got the right temperament. He's like a very lovable, leading man as it is. And I do think that may have been part of the nature of maybe not everybody getting on board with this as much as Harry Potter, as much as Eddie Redmayne is fantastic. And I think the character that he is playing is being played perfectly. I just don't know that that's, as a main character, such a lovable character that you can really like get attached to and like, really, root for as much. Whereas like, obviously there's a history with Dumbledore. We all already know who he is. We love him, like, and we're curious to now see. And then you bring in a very lovable actor in Jude Law. I mean, it's like, well done.
It's great casting, yes.
Yeah. So, I mean, it remains to be seen. The trailer looks good.
Yeah.
Like the trailer looks good. And like it definitely looks like more action-y, which I do think that's been part of the recipe that's been missing. So I don't want to say it's a meh. it's definitely like I'm enthusiastic, but I think they've got a lot of ground to make up after the first two. So
It's so funny how like it's an extension of a franchise that is like so beloved by so many
yeah. Oh,
people, and
talking to him.
it just meh, like it's
Meh.
just right.
That's how most people feel like, and that's the biggest problem, I think. And
Yeah.
I mean, listen, if you're gonna pour a shit ton of money into a franchise like Warner Brothers has, like if all the worst, reviews that you get are meh, then I mean, like you're doing okay because you're not getting blown out of the water, and people love the franchise enough that like it's gonna make money. People are gonna go watch it. It's definitely a popcorn like flick movie. The kids can go. Dates you can go, like, you know what I mean. So it's just one of those things that it's gonna make money no matter what. But I would be lying if I said I wasn't a little bummed not to see Johnny Depp in that role. So,
Yeah.
but it is what it is.
It is what it is.
We won't get into the political discussion of it.
No, we'll steer
No.
clear of that one.
Yeah.
We'll
Please don't
steer clear
comment
of
it.
that bad boy.
Yeah.
One more trailer to comment on this week, and then we'll get out of here and make our way towards the Batman. Brad, have you ever seen a studio kill the excitement for a movie before it's even come out, quite like what Sony has done with Morbius? Like, it's not even has anything to do with what you're seeing in the trailer. It's just the endless like delays, and like it's just like you just suck the life out. Like you could, based on Sony's non-Spider-Man work as of late, that in and of itself takes the wind out of your sails when it comes to this movie. But like it's like this movie, it's been delayed like 3 or 4 times, and it's just like I don't know. And like this new trailer, like it's very clear, like the selling point of this is like, oh my god, Michael Keaton's Vulture is in it. Like he's got like
Again, though, it's kind of like what we just talked about in Jude Law. It's kind of like, okay, we need to shift gears here.
Yes.
And kind of make the focus over here a little bit more because the people aren't responding. And so I think it was obvious in this trailer that they were kind of like, more Michael.
Yeah.
Somebody get Michael on the phone.
Yeah, man. It's
so
like,
I don't.
But I also think the MCU now is really, as we talked about on our last episode with Doctor Strange, is the MCU is really leaning into these like crossovers and cameos and stuff. So Sony is like, we're going to do that with this, and we're going to show you Vulture, Michael Keaton's Vulture, and get excited. And it's just like, maybe if you hadn't delayed this movie 4 friggin' times, I would be way more excited. And it's just like,
there's a difference between, like we talked about reshoots and things of that nature. And I grant you, like, we don't know all the behind the scenes of why they're doing reshoots as of right now, at least. They could have had COVID protocol nightmares during the whole making of this, and they've had to go back and forth a few times. Who knows?
Mm-hmm.
But when we talked about reshoots the last time, it was in reference to Doctor Strange, where Doctor Strange was like, clearly such an important movie going forward for the MCU because it's really dictating where everything's going, and they really want to make sure that they're hitting on all the little things. This to me has more a feel of like, we're trying to buff out the rough edges to this thing and really get the fans back, I guess, because
we're trying to build this Spider-Verse with the Sinister Six, but like Spider-Man is still technically in the MCU, so it's like, where are we going with this? It's just like, and to your point, I mean, Marvel and Disney have earned the right with fans for when you hear about reshoots, you're like, okay, well, I'm not gonna freak out. Whereas like Sony and like
and a lot of whiffs
and the disaster with Let There Be Carnage, you're kind of like, oh no.
Well, again, how many times did they recut that movie, and then it was like, my God, they cut that movie to shit. Like,
do we know
Johnny Depp reference here? Edward Scissorhands was in there, like trimming the shit out of that thing. So
I think I read that this movie is going to be another like an hour and 48 minutes, so under 2 hours.
Under 2 hours. That's not. I mean, that's not like Let There Be Carnage. That was like
it's 18 minutes longer than Let There Be Carnage.
Believe it or not, though, that is actually a lot.
Yeah.
It's just, but when a when a when a blockbuster movie cuts it down to 90 minutes, you know there's an issue.
Yes.
So the hour and 45 to hour or to 2 hour mark is usually fairly common. So I don't even know that it's that. And to be honest with you, I actually think this was the best trailer to date for me.
For sure. I don't disagree. But that's
action was really like dark. And it was like, that's what this is supposed to be. Yes.
But that's why I led this segment asking you that question, because I was like, this isn't a bad trailer, but you guys have killed any and all hype for this movie by delaying it. Like I told when we did our No Way Home review, I mentioned to you and Kelly that the first Morbius trailer was out while they were still shooting No Way Home. That's how long this movie
I forgot.
Yes.
I forgot.
Yes.
Wow, that was so. Oh my God, yeah, that has been in absolute limbo.
Yes.
For what, a year and a half?
Oh,
year?
Oh yeah. Oh, longer than that. Longer than that. Pretty much the duration of the pandemic.
My God.
Yeah.
And we were going on about the Batman because the Batman was like a legitimate, they had to shut that thing down.
Yes.
And they were in the middle of filming, and then they had to do like sporadic reshooting whenever they could.
Yes,
which is amazing.
People on set and stuff.
And not to circle this all the way back to the Batman, but it's like when you also take that into account, this like sporadic reshoots, that is usually the kiss of death.
Yeah.
Just because now you're trying to rematch everything, and it just sounds like a nightmare. And the reviews that they're getting, I mean, again, so you can do that in the midst of all of that, and yet this has been delayed for this meaning Morbius has been delayed a year and a half, and they seemingly keep recutting it and shifting the focus of who we're supposed to care about.
I don't know. Again, we don't know this for sure, but like all signs, because we're not in the rooms with the executives, but like all signs kind of point to, it's like, you know what, we've criticized Warner Brothers a lot. I have criticized Warner Brothers a lot about some of the stuff they've done in the past and whatever, but it's like they have shown with Chris Nolan and now apparently with Matt Reeves that if they get the right director in there, they'll back out and they'll let he or she do their thing. With this and like what we saw with Let There Be Carnage, like there's a lot of suits meddling in this film, and once you start getting that, man, like it's scary.
You know what's so funny to me? Because they definitely tried to introduce the Sinister Six, obviously, in The Amazing Spider-Man with Andrew Garfield. And it just seems like and again, because I'll make this argument too for Warner Brothers, most of their strife around their projects seem to be beholden to the DC universe stuff. So like their comic book heroes. And Sony for the most part as well. And it just seems like at a certain point, they get their claws into an idea and they don't want to let it go.
Yeah. Well, you know what the idea is, Brad? Making $1 billion at the box office. Like,
well, I get it, but if it's not executed well, then what are you doing?
That is a fantastic question. And I think like Marvel and Kevin Feige specifically hitting home run after home run after home run after home run, it gives some of these other suits the idea, well, like these characters are beloved. People love comic book movies. We should be making $1 billion with this. And it's like,
they'll just go see anything.
Yeah, but it's like, it actually has to be good.
It actually has to be good.
And listen, the Batman, for instance, this is a film that is going to have a really successful opening weekend, but it's not going to have the level that like No Way Home had, which like no one expected it to. But this is a movie that I think is going to have legs because people who see it are going to tell their friends that you got to go see it and like that sort of thing.
You have to go see it in the theater. Yeah.
Did anybody tell anyone to go see Venom: Let There Be Carnage?
No. No, they didn't. They did not. And that's because you're paying, probably if it's just you and your girlfriend or what have you, you're probably paying $60 to $100 to go watch a 90-minute movie that just looks like nothing matches as far as the cuts and the storyline and all of it.
I
But
have
this
a
is
I have a
go
personal
ahead.
question for you.
Yeah.
If we weren't doing this podcast and we weren't going to do a Morbius review, would you be going to see this in the theater?
That's interesting. That's a good question. I'm gonna go with no.
Yeah, me
I'm gonna go with no, and I'll go with no. No,
It can
actually,
wait.
I don't even
It
think
can
this is
wait.
fair to Morbius because I was gonna say because I saw Let There Be Carnage, I would say no.
Yes.
But I don't think I would have gone and I don't think I would have gone to see Let There Be Carnage. So
Yeah.
I will say that maybe I would have gone to see Morbius, but they would have got me. Listen, I'll tell you this: they've got a better chance. They would have had a better chance getting me in the theater with this most recent trailer and seeing Michael Keaton front and center and like, let's come back, everyone, come back. Yeah. So I don't know. It doesn't look bad, but now we're like shell shocked from what we got with.
Yeah, you've killed it. Like you did this.
Yeah, you did this.
You
this
did
is
this.
you.
You have it's the classic. You have no one to blame but yourselves.
You did this to yourself.
You did this to yourself. You shot yourself in the foot.
Go look in the mirror, you stupids. Yeah, I don't. But we'll see. We'll see. Again, well, I'm going to throw my little positive spin on this. We'll see.
Yeah,
we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see.
Because
all right,
the last trailer was kind of cool.
Yep.
Came out. Looks pretty cool. We'll see.
Yep.
We'll see.
All right. I think that's going to do it for this week, buddy. We've got bigger fish to fry. We will be back. It is a 2-episode week on the Talkin' Pop podcast. Like
Let's
I
go.
said, we will be back on Sunday, dropping our full spoiler review of the Batman. Hit that like and subscribe button below. You're not going to want to miss this. We're going to do a full deep dive into the movie. Oh my God, I'm so excited.
I think we all need to take a collective breath.
Yes.
And just enjoy the ride because this has been a long wait. This has been a long wait, and let's do it. I can't wait.
Yeah.
I can't wait to talk shop on Sunday, buddy.
Make sure. Like, this is gonna be a film where like I'm sitting in that seat for 3 hours, man. Like, I'm not getting up to go to the bathroom. I'm not doing nothing. Like, my ass is in that chair for 3 hours.
I'm going to need you to really think about the size of drink you're going to get.
Yes.
I'm going to really need you to think about like seat placement. I'm going to need you to like be making notes in your head. Yep. This is what Kelly is going to also be getting these notes, and we'll see her on Sunday.
Absolutely. All right, guys, thank you so much for checking us out. If you like what you see, hit that like and subscribe button below. Spread the word. Tell your friends. We really appreciate it. Also, if you're listening to the audio version of the show, hit that like and subscribe button there as well. Leave a little 5-star review. It always helps. A little comment.
Help us.
Whatever, little thumbs up. Help us out. We really appreciate it. We'll see you guys on Sunday for the Batman review.
Bye, guys.